Woo, y'all. Y'all, this was the gay Super Bowl. This was our Bravo Housewives Super Bowl tonight. And part one, it delivered. It was epic. And before I talk about it overall, I'll save that for the end, but this was really good. So we saw the preview online that for some reason the camera crews go to Erica's place 2 weeks before the reunion while Rena's going over. She said she has some dream, and then we go into the preview of the entire reunion. Yada, yada, yada. Now we're in present day, and I love that they added to the reunions now that we break the fourth wall and we see Andy going into the trailer, see them getting ready, ask them little questions here and there. I like that little addition. I see Garcelle getting ready. She's like, I'm going to handle it. I'm like, okay. We still waiting, but okay. I really can't believe there was no theme for this reunion for the ladies, unless the theme was bad fashion. So the reunion starts, and now they're going back to all the wives on a couch, just sitting right next to each other instead of social distance chairs for everybody. Of course, Erica and Kyle are the closest to Andy. I mean, we didn't think it would be any other way. So Mr. Andy Cohen greets all the ladies. Kyle, this hair is a travesty. Like, Kyle looked better coming from her house before she got into makeup than this look right here. I really cannot believe she wore this. Also, this is Kyle's 11th reunion. She really is the last woman standing. And I think she's my favorite OG left out of all the franchises. I mean, Ramona can suck it. Teresa, blah. Yeah, Kyle wins. I mean, I like Kyle on Beverly Hills. I mean, she is a duplicitous snake, but I do think she's good for the show. We also find out that this background, this very busy background, is a simulation of Kathy's backyard. Wow. So they really imitated the entire set from the friend of the show. That is something. It really is. I particularly don't like it. It just looked a little basic to me, and it's just so busy. Like, I'm looking for lawn gnomes. That's the only thing that's missing. It's like that busy background together with all these women's horrible fashions. It's a lot. Like, if I was on LSD, I would definitely have a seizure watching this. Andy then saves his last greeting for Erica Jane. Says, how's she doing? She's very cold right now. I mean, she knows she about to get grilled. He asks, well, did you get some sleep? She's like, yeah. Why wouldn't I? And I'm thinking the exact same thing. Why wouldn't she get a good night's rest? Because she ain't thinking about the victims. Like, she's sleeping good. The only way she'll lose sleep is if she's charged with something, which we know she ain't. So Andy just starts right out the gate. He says, well, are there any big misconceptions that you want to clear up? And she wants to say that she's not cold. Like, all she said was, people don't think I have empathy and sympathy. For who? For who? And that's when Andy filled in the blank. Hold on. She did not just say the alleged victims and Tom's alleged misdoings. He did that. He did that to those victims, Rashida. Oh my God. Right then and there, I was done with her. Done with her. Like, for the rest of this part one, I was done with her with that. There is evidence of him taking the money. Like, he did that. Now, whether you knew about it, I mean, the jury's out on that. I just really cannot believe she put alleged in front of the victims. Like, they're allegedly victims. This is why it kind of irritates me when people say, I believe Erica. We need to wait till we get all the facts. We got most of the facts. And the facts are that he stole money from those people. He's an embezzler. I'm actually kind of annoyed that Andy didn't even point that out, or nobody on the couch said anything. So now the question to Erica is, how do you feel about your friends coming into the reunion? She says a little bit of disappointment. Andy puts Sutton on the spot, saying, didn't you talk to an attorney? And she said, well, I didn't talk to my attorney. I talked to one of my friends who's an attorney. Then he asked the rest of the cast, did anyone else talk to an attorney? And then Crystal said she actually talked to hers. And then Kyle said she asked Faye's husband. So all that smoke Erica gave to Sutton, is she mad at Kyle or Crystal? Again, like I said in my earlier reviews, I would definitely consult a lawyer if I was one of the ladies. Like we heard recently, Bravo was just subpoenaed for unaired footage of the show. They can all be implicated in this. Erica is then asked, did her lawyers advise her not to do the show? And she said yeah, but she refused because she said she has nothing to hide. It just sucks because she's such a terrible liar. We all know that she needed that check. And I also think she needed a platform to defend herself as well as defend her ex-husband, which she has been doing. And even though I feel how I feel about Erica, I do like that she stayed on the show. She's answering the questions, and she could have easily not showed up like LVP did, which definitely made her a punk to not even show up to the reunion. But yeah, we gotta admit that Erica carried this entire season on her back, lies and all. Andy is on a roll. Okay, like he understood the assignment. He's like, how is it now that you don't have Tom's money to rely on and this is your full-time job? She said during the show it didn't feel that way. It just seemed like she was just trying to survive. But after taping, she realized that, yeah, this is my full-time job now. AKA she's broke. Well, rich people broke. So I agree with Erica on this. I don't think she should have been fired from the show. Like, she hasn't been charged with anything. She's just connected to Tom Girardi. And if, we need to fire anybody, I mean, Jen Shaw should have been fired. I do think she came about this season the wrong way. She could have definitely started out the season with sympathy. She was just so cavalier, and then just the lying and then bullying Sutton. I'm surprised she has anybody on her side after this season. I think she went about it all the wrong way. She really could have started this season with people behind her if she was just a little bit humble, showing a little bit of sympathy and empathy. But no, she didn't. So now we finally get into the show, and the first person up is Sutton's Reel. So after that, Andy asks about her mom. They don't really pay too much attention to the Crystal versus Sutton beef. Maybe they're gonna save that for Crystal's Reel. And Andy's asking her about her business, and she's like, yeah, my business is fine, as she's looking at Lisa Rinna. Turns out that Lisa Rinna was trying to shade her business and be like, Sutton don't have a job. Well, Rinna, for Sutton not having a job, she still got more coin than you. And I remember when Rena had that little rinky-dink store in LA, it shut down. So yeah, Sutton's store is still up. Lisa Rinna on that couch looks like a purple snake. We get an update on Sutton's house. She finally moved in a week before this reunion. I think she was at Kyle's house for like maybe a full year. She was only supposed to be there for a month. So next, Andy goes back to Erica and just asks her about her dating life. Is she dating anybody? She said, yeah, I'm looking. She's single and ready to mingle. She's basically looking for a big dick. I mean, we allegedly heard that she's messing with somebody in Vegas, a sugar daddy that's paying her bills now. Oh no, so Sutton's boyfriend broke up with her. Wow. On Valentine's Day weekend, he was just like, sorry, I just can't. And I'm like, wasn't that in Sex and the City when Berger broke up with Carrie on a Post-it? He was like, I'm sorry, I can't, don't hate me. Yeah, my Sex and the City people in the audience know what I'm talking about. So Sutton says she's doing okay now and she's dating. Erica says, who are you dating? The cadence of how she said that was laced in shade. And I think Erica mumbled under her breath, damn, I can barely find a date. How is she getting a date? That's how I took it as, especially the look on Lisa Rinna's face. But look, Sutton is a hot commodity. Allegedly, she's getting $300,000 a month from her ex-husband. And now we're on Garcelle's Reel, and I think they're gonna cover her beef with Dorit, as well as Rena, and then how she says she doesn't feel like she fits in and there's an inner circle in the group. As Garcelle's Reel ends on the dinner where she let all the ladies know how she really felt like an outsider and brought up like how she's the only black person on the cast. Andy is asking all the women like how they felt about it, and then Lisa and Dorit, they give her compliments at first. And then Dorit saying, well, Garcelle can be passively provocative. And that's when my eyebrow raised. I'm like, what's she talking about? She's starting passively provocative in order to be relevant. Like, Dorit trying to question Garcelle, trying to be relevant? Who are you? Who are you? Like someone said on Twitter, like, you speak Italian. Garcelle was on the cover of Italian Vogue. Right, Garcelle, honey, I don't need to do anything to be relevant. Let's start there. Ooh, the nerve. Like, I love how she tried to like sneak that in. And here she go, I feel like you've taken jabs and swipes. So as Dorit's speaking, because she talks so fucking much, like Garcelle interrupts her and says, well, you also need to apologize for calling me a bully. Of course, Dorit's gonna say, oh, well, you didn't give me a chance to apologize. Dorit says the reason that bully came to her mind was because when she thinks of the word bully, it's someone that takes incessant jabs. Girl, if you don't get out of here, especially because she wants to put that on Garcelle, but when you see Erica Jane bullying Sutton, like really bullying her at the table, she's not a bully to you. And I wonder why. It's such a microaggression. But yeah, immediately Andy asked a question from a fan saying that Erica came for Eileen, she came for Teddy, Sutton, and even Dorit at one point. So what you have to say about that? Oh, so she's defending Erica now. She's like, oh, well, those were all isolated incidents. Here she go. Okay, so now she apologizes and says it wasn't the right word and she's sorry. But of course there's a but behind it, and then she tries to bring up how Garcelle talks a lot of shit in the confessionals about everybody. Like everybody else, you mean? Oh, now Lisa Rena is trying to tag team and like, oh yeah, I agree with her. Like, yeah, we all do it, but Garcelle does it the most. At this point, I was getting a little anxious. I was just like, Rena, she needs to mind her business. This is between Dorit and Garcelle right now. We'll get to you. Dorit's trying to tell Garcelle that she doesn't say much in person, but she has a lot to say in her confessionals, which isn't true. Like, we've seen Garcelle be very direct with these women, and what she says in her confessionals, she can say to Dorit's face. Like, Dorit is not intimidating nobody. Erica Jane might, but not Dorit. Garcelle is calling bullshit, and all I see right now is just some gaslighting on Dorit's part. And now Erica Jane trying to get a piece? Girl, don't you got enough going on? Why don't you sit back and try to get your lies straight for the next segment? The nerve! So it's basically Erica chiming in, Lisa Rena chiming in to defend Dorit. And Garcelle ain't got nobody. Like Sutton, she's quiet as a church mouse right now. And honestly, I don't expect Sutton to speak up, but damn. Now we see Rena saying slick shit under her breath while Garcelle's defending herself. Garcelle's like, Rena, stop, hold on, we'll get to you, girl. Just wait your turn. Oh. So now Miss Purple Snake, she got some balls now. Like she's saying like, don't you tell me what to do. I'll say whatever I want. I don't like how she's addressing Garcelle. Garcelle needs to put her ass in check. They are really trying to double team Garcelle right now. I do not like this. And then we're just seeing all of Kyle's expressions right now. She's like, Rena, you ain't gonna do nothing, okay? Oh my goodness. Like, she got the right black girl because any other chick isn't gonna stand for that. Oh God, so now Andy asks Crystal's opinion on this, and he's asking, do you think Garcelle takes jabs like the women are saying? And Crystal takes the bait and backstabs Garcelle like, well, you know, we were at dinner and she did say something in her confessional about not knowing me. That's because it was like 3 of y'all talking about her friend at the table, being very classist, saying, who is Sutton? And she brought up a good point in her confessional, like, well, to that logic, who are you, Crystal? Because all I know is your husband, not you. Ooh, like, see, Crystal, she's a mean girl. Like, Alex called it out, and I didn't see it at first, but I definitely see it. She's trying to wiggle in, try to take Teddy's spot or Sutton's spot. And we trying to be all the way real. Like Crystal told us in the beginning of the season, she had a thing about wanting to be white. And for her to try to get the validation of these women by stepping on Garcelle, it doesn't shock me. Dorit's trying to bring up an example of Crystal's dinner, which she didn't even attend. And Garcelle's like, you weren't even there. And Dorit says, let me finish, Garcelle! Everybody was looking at each other like, who the fuck you think you talking to? Like at this point, her yelling at Garcelle like that was triggering. Did y'all feel triggered in this scene? Because I was. And y'all know I don't like using this word, but that bitch thought she was talking to her help the way she was talking to Garcelle. And that really pissed me off. Ooh. Ooh. It just made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. The way, like, she said it with such vitriol. Like, she yelled at the top of her lungs at her. Kyle's mouth was wide open, didn't know what to do. Sutton didn't say anything. I could not believe Garcelle just stood there. Like, just, I mean, she was classy for not retaliating, but this situation really called for her to really put Dorit in her place. And it really frustrated me that she didn't. Like, I'm not trying to call Dorit racist, but it's just the optics of it. And you're yelling at another woman, a black woman, who is speaking to you in a respectful tone, and you just completely went out of pocket to disrespect her. Like, I've seen every reunion you were a part of, and you never raised your voice at anybody on this panel like that. Whew. That really raised my blood pressure, but y'all, for what's coming up, it gets even worse. And even the point she's trying to make still had nothing to do with the situation because she wasn't there. Like, okay, they were talking about Sutton in front of her. She decided not to say anything, but she said in the confessional, okay, you did that with Erica. What's the big difference? And you know what? I brought this up on Twitter. Candy in Atlanta, like, they were talking, and Kim tried to get buck with Candy. I think she was cussing or tried to raise her voice at her. And Candy was like, who the fuck you cussing at? Like, Candy didn't take that shit. That's why I was hoping that Garcelle would do the same thing. And I'm still waiting for Dorit to give her an apology. I just watched Watch What Happens Live after this, and Garcelle at least said she needs to apologize to me for yelling, and she will never do that again. So I was like, I know that's right. I know that's right, but Garcelle sort of checked her in that moment. So before Andy can move on to Rena versus Garcelle, he asked Garcelle and Dorit, like, where do y'all stand right now? And then Dorit says the ball is in Garcelle's court. I would be fuck that bitch. But, you know, I think Garcelle wants to be on for a third season, so I think she's keeping it classy. Garcelle says she wants to move forward. Dorit says it as well. She says, I don't dislike her at all. I'm not sure what that means. Garcelle says she doesn't have anything against Dorit, so she's open to moving forward. So now we're on Garcelle and Rena, and Andy is asking, does Garcelle buy Rena's actions of trying to gain her friendship back? Like, you know, giving her that sauce or throwing her the birthday. Does she think it's just her playing chess, or does she think it was genuine? And Garcelle says that she doesn't know. Garcelle says she don't trust her. And just seeing how Lisa treated Denise, I mean, I don't blame her for not trusting her. Here go Erica again, asking extra questions on the side. Ma'am, sit back, relax, and think of your lives. I don't want to hear a peep out of you until Andy asks your ass a question. You know, it would be really nice if Garcelle had somebody to back her up too, because the whole side of the couch is speaking on behalf of Rena. I think Crystal's about to get in on it too. Erica asked Garcelle, do you want to punish her for the way she treated Denise? Garcelle says no, like Denise can fight her own battles. Now, I did think that it was unnecessary at the party for her to bring up Denise. Like, whatever's going on between Denise and her, that's between their business. Y'all need to work on y'all's friendship. So I get how Rena was frustrated in that point. Rena asked Garcelle, when are you gonna let it go? When are you gonna it's been 4 months. And Garcelle's like, I let it go now. And Lisa's like, hallelujah. Thank you, God. She's being very patronizing right now. Andy asked Garcelle, what would have Lisa had to do in order for her to gain your trust? And she brought up her lip launch dinner where Dorit came at her. Lisa's like, well, you know, I agreed with Dorit, so I wouldn't have had your back. Just wow. Wow, these ladies show their true colors. So Andy asks Sutton's take on this, and Sutton says, well, I feel like Lisa doesn't really have my back either. Then Lisa says, look, I can see if I fucked up, or if I did something to you, or talked about you. I didn't do that. And then she's interrupted by Garcelle, and Garcelle says, well, I heard from a friend that you said that you wish that I didn't bring up race on this show. bomb dropped. Like, Lisa Rinna's face, wow. She's blindsided by this. Garcelle continues saying Lisa allegedly said that this show isn't that type of show. Now listen to the words carefully. Now Lisa, the first thing she said, she didn't say, oh my God, I didn't say that. She said if that were the case, you should have came to me directly. Ma'am, did you say it or did you not say it? So that was already an admission to me. So Garcelle's rebuttal is, well, y'all said a bunch of shit, but y'all didn't come to me about it directly. And then Erika Jayne steps in again to defend Lisa, saying, well, yeah, but that's a big one. Wow, so these chicks clearly have each other's backs right now. I didn't even notice, but Dorit chimed in too. It's literally Erika, Rena, and Dorit against Garcelle right now. I am just so uncomfortable by this. Oh, so now Lisa's saying you have it out for me and I want to know why. And now Lisa's yelling at Garcelle, what is going on? Then why did you come to me and tell me? No, did you say it or not? You clearly said it. I'm glad she put your ass on Front Street about it. Yep, Garcelle, now she's trying to turn the tables on you and blame you for not coming to her about something that she said, something problematic at that. So now Rena says she didn't say that. I could totally believe she said that. You are lying just like your bestie, Erika. Now I find it funny that she asked Garcelle who told you that when let's rewind last season when you were like across from Denise and you said, oh yeah, I heard you're bringing a cease and desist to Bravo. And then when Denise was like, who told you that? And you were like, ooh, you're so angry. I remember that. How does it feel? How does it feel to be put on Front Street? Oh, Garcelle's like, why is this rattling you if you didn't say it? Rena's trying to feel like, well, why were you shitty to me all season? Why were you? That wasn't the reason. Why were you? And then Garcelle was like, because I don't trust you. Lisa Rinna is deflecting. Like, really deflecting. Now she bringing up Watch What Happens Live when Garcelle was on it. And she was being coy about having Denise come back and Lisa Rinna being taken off to make room for her. Andy said Lisa Rinna, not Garcelle. She just implied it. She didn't say it. So it is what it is. And by the way, I think that's a terrible idea. I don't want Denise to come back. Bring back LVP. You can bring back Camille. Please enlist another black woman. Can we get Will Smith's ex-wife? And I think her name is Sheree. And then, like I said, Nicole Murphy. So Lisa Rinna now says, you know what you just did and what you tried to throw down shows me exactly the type of person you are. What? Child, look, Garcelle has too much goddamn motherfucking grace for me. It actually shows what type of person you are, snake. Lisa's like, well, I don't understand why you had to say that because it's not true. And then Garcelle's like, then just say it's not true then. I mean, even the second time watching, my blood pressure feel like it's going up. Not Lisa Rinna asking her for an apology for insinuating that. You want an apology from a black woman hearing that you didn't want to talk about race. Girl, if you don't get the fuck, you and them lips. I am so glad that Garcelle did not apologize for that. I probably would have turned my TV off. I probably would have ripped it off the wall and threw it out this damn window, 6 stories down. So then Garcelle says to Rena, would you really have told me to my face that you didn't want to talk about race on this show? Really? Really? Erika Jayne steps in for her friend again and saying this one, yeah, she would. 3 breaths. I don't want to use no B words. I don't want to use no see you next Tuesdays. I just want her to shut the fuck up and let Garcelle and Rena talk. Andy Cohen is lost for words. He don't know what to say. I don't, where do you two go from here? Garcelle says, I don't know. And then Lisa Rinna now, she wants, why can't we move on? Why can't we move on? Garcelle then asks Lisa, then what do you need from me? And then Lisa's like, well, I just want the old Garcelle. Garcelle's like, what happened to the Lisa I knew? Garcelle tells her she's not warm, and then Lisa Rinna needs affirmation from her left and her right. Of course, Erika says, oh yeah, you're warm, you're warm. And Erika says again, like, look, she's gonna call you out on a lot of stuff. You know, that's just who she is. Wow. I mean, everything that Garcelle is saying or has said this season is clearly true by their actions right now. And then Lisa wants to bring up her husband. You know, Harry told me, what happened to Garcelle? Don't even try it. I'm trying not to say the B word. I'm trying, y'all. The gaslighting. The gaslighting. And I don't like it. I do not like it. Dorit chimes in. She's like, you don't look miserable, but yeah, you're definitely checked out. Even more gaslighting. Like, fuck these two women right now in this very moment. Maybe my opinion will change in part 2 or 3 or 4, but right now, fuck these women. Garcelle's like, I checked out? Honey, I show up. Now check that. She has definitely showed up this season. This gaslighting is too much. It is too much, Taquita. Erica, who was talking to you? She's like, and so do I. Girl, shut up. Shut up. So now I don't know what's going on. Like now they're reminiscing on how their friends like, we were so great. Yeah, we were. Then why? Why can't we get back? Kyle is snickering right now because just like me, she's trying to figure out what is going on right now. There was just a racial accusation and now they're like reminiscing. Child, it looks like Lisa wants to move on. She even gets up and goes to Garcelle's side of the couch, sitting right next to her and says, I want to move on. I want to move on. What happened like 5 minutes ago? And Dorit, we heard you. She said the only reason she stood up because she wants to show her outfit. Exactly. I don't believe this shit for 1 second. I'm not buying it. She's like, just give me a chance. Just give me a chance. And Garcelle is like, you've got it. Cut. That's a wrap, people. Like, what? So it's just over just like that. I think Garcelle was just uncomfortable and she wanted to get this bitch away from her. So now they agree to move on because life is too fucking short. I fucking guess. This is the same behavior that Lisa Rena has exhibited season after season where she fucks shit up, she does some conniving, despicable things, and at the reunion she's like, oh, I just want to move on. I'm owning it. So everything is fine now. We're resetting. No, I remember all this. Just 5 minutes ago, you were coming at this woman, you and your friend. And then she says, you know, if I didn't like you, I would say, fuck you, like whatever. No, you actually wouldn't because you don't want to have beef with the only black girl on the cast, which is why you're doing what you're doing right now. So we get a little commercial break after that bullshit, and then they bring out Kathy Hilton. I am glad they brought her out because we needed some comic relief after that shitstorm. Seeing that was just so damn triggering. Them coming at the only black cast member like that, gaslighting her, chastising her about her experience. It was just too much. And then the yelling at her too. Andy then asked Kathy, do you recognize where we're sitting tonight? Of course she don't. So we get some pleasantries with Kathy, and then Kyle brings up like Halloween Kills. You know, it's something, Kyle don't really have any type of plot line this season, yet she's sitting the closest to Andy. Like all she's been doing is like a charade, just like bone carrying, and that's it. So then Kyle's talking about her experience on Halloween Kills, blah, 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 and then Andy focuses on Erica and her marriage now. So Andy's bringing up instances where Tom didn't support Erica. Like first, when he asked her in another reunion, did Tom read her book? She said no, and he thought that was strange. And then Tom didn't see her in Chicago either. I'm guessing he's trying to point out that there were signs that everything wasn't okay. He then asked her, why not leave him sooner if he was cheating on you? And she said, well, the cheating was only part of it. And now she's going into full acting mode. She's saying there was so much more. I told him, if you want to be with somebody else, then divorce me and go be with her. And Andy's like, what did he say? Nothing. And scene. And then he asked her, were you faithful to him? And then she pauses, and that is where the episode ends. Ooh, they know how to get us. They know how to get us on a cliffhanger. Ugh, man, y'all, that was a good part 1. And after watching, I'm thinking, maybe 4 parts are warranted. And then next week, I mean, it looks good. I heard from Watch What Happens Live that the first 20 minutes is all about Erica's marriage. So yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed this, but halfway through when they were going at Garcelle, it was triggering. It was very triggering. And also, I was listening on Clubhouse to a group that reviews the episodes too. A great discussion saying that, do you think the Housewives franchises should remain segregated and not put one minority through this? Because people are saying that it's just not working. Now, I don't know. Like, I think Garcelle still is holding her own, and just because she's not reacting the way that we want to react, like, we shouldn't fault her for that because black people aren't a monolith. I think it's a little extreme, but y'all let me know. Like, do y'all prefer it to be segregated, or do you prefer they integrate housewives from different backgrounds? Just thought that was interesting. Y'all, this is really the best season of Housewives among all the franchises. I would say in a very, very long time. Right now, for me, it's still fuck Lisa and fuck Dorit until further notice. Y'all let me know your thoughts. I cannot wait to hear. I'm gonna read all the comments. And yeah, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all for the next episode. Bye.